level so you get to see some of them and be able to judge whether they're worthwhile for your particular situation or not. Not everything that I'm going to provide you will be applicable to use these apps or not. The Edmodo code is right here. If you want to join it, I will send out on my Edmodo, I'll send out the links to all the stuff that we're talking about, and so you can take a look at it from there. My name is Tim Hall. I am the principal at Franklin Academy, so I just came from school to do this presentation. So, and it's been about 6 months since I've done this particular presentation, so I'm going to probably be revising things a little bit as we go along, because if you know, most of you know, with all of this stuff, it changes very quickly. So you might be using something this year, and next year you're not using it, and it goes and it makes an update, and you're not aware of the update, and things change a bit. So make sure that you add the Edmodo code, and we will begin. The first thing, just to let you know, and I have a whole entire session on Evernote, because Evernote is one of the apps that I really like. I'm using Evernote right now. This is an Evernote note in presentation mode, okay, which allows you, it actually expands out so you can change your screen to the note or whatever. It also allows you to do this, which is just point, very aesthetics, and then you can change your screen. So this is actually an Evernote note that I'm working from, rather than a PowerPoint presentation. For some of you who do quick notes, this might be something to consider in the future. Let's get started. So, presentation. A little more difficult to navigate when you're joining the screen. So, in this session, we'll look at a variety of apps that allow educators to optimize their potential as professionals in the secondary classroom. We'll also review a little bit of the notion of optimized workflow from teacher to student, and we'll also take a look at Edmodo. How many people use Edmodo? Good. Edmodo is free, of course. Very nice for schools to use for the workflow situation. It allows teachers to quickly post things, and then allows students to get those things and then return back to you, which is part of the workflow that we're talking about. And then finally, we'll take a look at some of the other apps that we use in the classroom and in productivity. So, I'm sorry, I didn't do mirroring, so it doesn't do a lot of looking behind me. I'll also send out a few resource links, some of the best apps. These are all, of course, I'm sure all of you have done app searches and had, articles posted about, these are the 10 best apps for education and so forth. And that's what these articles will be about. So when you see that in Edmodo, you might want to take a look at those. So first app I want to take a look at for the classroom, secondary classroom, is the Prezi app. How many people use Prezi? Oh, Prezi is the best thing. Prezi is almost like PowerPoint, except that it's a lot better and much better. PowerPoint is very linear, while Prezi is really based on a more graphic organizer approach, which makes it more simple. So if you take a look to the screen, I'll get to my Prezi app. Now, in order to use Prezi, you need, of course, to have a Prezi account. So you have to create one. With that Prezi account, it allows you to store your presentations. Allows you to store your presentations online, which is very helpful. It also allows you to access those presentations anywhere you may be. And if you do not have access to the Prezi app, it still allows you, if you have a web-based computer, to present those presentations. So you don't always have to have your iPad with you. So let me give you an example. Takes a few seconds to load up. This is a simple one that doesn't make you sick when you watch it, but you can do it to where it spins all around, makes people sick. That I really enjoy those ones. The roller coaster ride is always beneficial for students, especially. But this is a quick Prezi app. So that's the Prezi app. And as you notice, take a look at the screen. And of course, you have choices to where you can put the text and everything else. But if you understand, like with the PowerPoint, it is very linear. But with Prezi, students and you can look at it as a graphic organizer, as a mind map, so to speak. So that's the benefit of Prezi. Anybody else believe in Prezi besides me? Yeah. Good. All right. So, other things that you can do with Prezi is, of course, share your Prezis online. You can share the link to your Prezis, just like anything else, but you can share your link to your Prezis, and everybody can watch your Prezi while you're going through your presentation also, which is another option that you might want to do. It's very interesting to watch because you can say, you send out the link to have people join you at your presentation remotely, and then you can see their heads pop up into the presentation, and you can see them in the background as they're watching your presentation. So Prezi is an app that I definitely would want you to consider.
Do you create Prezis?
Yes, you can create, at one time you could not create Prezis at all on the iPad. The Prezi app gives you some ability to edit. Most of the Prezis you have to create, all the in-depth detail stuff you have to create online or with the software. The software costs $99 per year if you want the software for your Mac or PC to stay on there. But if you don't want the software, you just want the web-based version, that's free. So you can create your Prezi online and it's free. Go back. So that's Prezi for you. Any questions about Prezi beyond the software? All right, the next one, since we're talking about mind maps, and we're going to kind of think about mind maps, is inspiration. Everybody remember inspiration? Inspiration has been in the market, the graphic organizer market, for years at this point. Since the early 2000s, I remember starting using them with that. And at the beginning, they had just a simple software program which allowed students and teachers to type in short outlines or longer outlines and create mind maps from them by just clicking the button. So for example, this is the example we'll have on the screen. You have students or a teacher would type in the outline itself, and then you say, okay, what would that look like as a graphic organizer? And then you can adjust, add things to it, describe, make more detail, and distribute.
That's Penultimate?
This, no, I'm going out of order.
Okay.
Totally out of order, very scattered. No, this is inspiration.
Inspiration, okay.
No.
Is that version?
Inspiration, last time I looked, I purchased it a while ago, I purchased it like $4.99 for the app.
There's Inspiration Lite.
Which is, yeah.
You can use that for free, but I don't.
It does include all the templates, but yeah, I mean, you might want to try out the light version and just see how well it works with your students or with yourself. The difference between the light version and the cost version is that the cost version provides you a bunch of templates to work with. So I'll go down to the history one. And because I use, these are pretty nice. And then you can switch to the outline mode and then have them put in the outline and then click the button. It goes back into the graphic mode. Yes?
If you edit it in this view, will it?
Yeah,
that
it will.
enter into the outline?
In this view also.
It will be entered in the outline when you go back to the outline. Oh, cool.
And you can see it right there. So, again, graphic organizers are a good way for students to organize information, especially for reading and for organizing lecture notes. So, I would definitely suggest looking at inspiration, light, and definitely suggest looking at Prezi. Maybe for your own classroom, using Prezi in the classroom for your own presentation. Not that you have to use Prezi for each presentation, because I know a lot of people, I remember a teacher that I used to know had all of his PowerPoints, U.S. history PowerPoints. I know he's very reluctant to go to another, Prezi. But Prezi, it does allow you to import PowerPoint slides. And then you can distribute those PowerPoint slides wherever you want within the Prezi itself. So that's something to consider. So two of them to consider would be Prezi and inspiration. All right. So before we do Penultimate, we'll do Dropbox. I think everybody knows Dropbox, but we'll just do it just because maybe there's some aspects of it you're not aware of. How many people have a Dropbox account? Excellent. 3 years ago, it might not have been the case, but Dropbox is definitely won out on cloud storage. And so Dropbox is a great way to help with workflow, with distribution for your students. So I'll take a look at the Dropbox here. Most of you use Dropbox on the iPad, I would assume, and on your Mac or PC, and on the web. Everybody knows how to do that? See, a lot of the issue with Dropbox, a lot of people don't see the need for Dropbox because they don't see where it's really very beneficial other than it's on their iPad or on their Mac. But the benefit of Dropbox, maybe not so much of a benefit, is the fact that if you put your files in the Dropbox folder on your Mac or on your PC or on your iPad, that you'll have always access to those files, the most updated version. So if I update a file on my Mac, it will update on my iPad as soon as I hook up to Wi-Fi. Or if I have, again, update something on my Mac, and then update it, it will be updated on my home PC when I get home. For teachers and others, me and Mr. Mahaley, who's the conference organizer, of course we're colleagues and we work together, we have shared folders. And I can always tell when he's working on the weekend, and he can always tell when I'm working on the weekend, because when he updates his files in the shared folders, I get notification of it. Yes?
Like I've got a laptop for school that's issued to me.
Yeah.
Then I have the iPad that's issued to me. Then I've got a big desktop at home with the giant screen that I work on weekend. And I don't use anything but Dropbox anymore.
Yeah.
Because now all my file structure is created in Dropbox, so as soon as I change it anywhere, it's there. So I create my presentations on my desktop at home, take my laptop into the classroom on Monday morning, pull it up on Dropbox, and there's my PowerPoint or whatever. Then it's automatically there. And if you are unfortunate enough to have your laptop crash one day and everything is gone, it's not gone. It's still on Dropbox. You just get another laptop from the cart, sign in, pull up your Dropbox, and everything is there. You're good to go. There's no loss anywhere.
And in addition to that, and that definitely demonstrates that workflow. In addition to that, if you erase a file, okay, you can go back into the Dropbox account online in the web version and be able to find that file. Because it keeps track of all the files, even the files that you delete, and keeps record of those and be able to access those files. So you've erased such and such's recommendation, and you don't want to write that recommendation recommendation over, or what have you, you can go online, www.dropbox.com, go into the history, and it'll show you all the files that you have erased from your Dropbox account. All of them.
Is there a storage limitation on Dropbox?
There is, good question. Everything comes with a price tag. There is a storage limitation. Every year I purchase the $99 to get the upper end storage. I'm not really sure why I do that, because I don't think I've ever actually I think I panicked one time and said, oh, I'm going to just overwhelm this thing with my files, but I haven't. And I have a lot of video files, and I still haven't come close to it. So I would try the free account with Dropbox and see how well it does at that point. And then if you're getting towards the limit, then do otherwise. Again, and then you won't have to use jump drives and all the other various, ways that we used to do things in order to get the files. And even with students, now when we first started working with the iPads about 3 years ago, my students used to have to email stuff to themselves in order to download it to their PC and stuff like that. But because of Dropbox and the way it integrates that workflow, you do not have to do those type of things.
Is that similar to like a Google Drive?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not taking anything away from Google Drive, other than I don't use Google Drive. When I looked at Google Drive maybe about a year ago, I was like, I got Dropbox, I'm fine with this.
Okay.
So, it's very similar to Google Drive.
Okay.
The difference in Dropbox, I would say, looking at Google Drive and the limited way I had, is that Google Drive allows you to do a lot more editing together of the document within. Dropbox is just the file storage itself. It is not the interface to that file. Like I can see the file here, but I can't edit this file or make any changes to this file. And what I've noticed about Google Drive is that you do have that ability to edit things to some limited degree.
Right.
So if there is a benefit to Google Drive, which there may be, I might have to re-examine, but that would be it.
Okay.
It's great for collaborative work.
Yeah.
So if we're in different locations and we're looking at the same document and we're working as a team, you can see who is on, edit, talk to each other. So for collaboration and teamwork, it is just an excellent platform.
And again, it's not something that like a year ago I took a look at. I just haven't looked at it since then, but thank you. Other things about Dropbox to add, of course, if you look over at the screen, you can email a link to your Dropbox, just that file. You can text it, Facebook it, post it, tweet it, or copy the link to the clipboard. And I think that's the one that people use the most, is copy the link to the clipboard, and then they put that, embed that in another document. And that's something to consider. Also, when you send that link out, know that whenever that person clicks that link, they'll get the latest updated file. So they'll always have the latest and greatest file, or maybe not so great, but they'll have the file that you need, that you have updated the latest one, which is beneficial too. For workflow, that means that you can send documents or embed documents on a website or an Evernote note through Dropbox, and when students access that file, they'll get the latest file. So you can keep a running file of a unit that you're using and just update it if you wanted to, which is what I've done in the past. Questions about Dropbox? Of course, Dropbox, of course, like we talked before with Google Drive, it does not allow you to use it. You can't edit things, so you have to open it up in other documents. So I'm going to open it up in Pages. I think this is the first time since the update that I've actually used this iPad. I have my iPad mini, and I use that more often. Not that it's a better device, it's just easier. So just understand that about Dropbox. You can't do the editing. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about your applications of things. I think Keith brought up is a very important point. You can keep all your stuff, documents on power on all your computers, and it's very beneficial. It's very beneficial to have it that way. That means your work always follows you, which is a good, well, it's good. I mean, for teachers, it's good. That means you can access things whenever you need to access them. And I think that's very beneficial. All right. Other ones. So, just totally scattered, but let's do iThoughts real quick. iThoughts is another graphic organizer program that you might consider using. It's a little more versatile than Inspiration. And the reason why it's more versatile is actually set for business. I will show you the versatility. Inspiration allows you to export things to PDFs. iThoughts allows you to do a lot more with it, including share it, copy it to image, send to photos. Since you can also hook it up with your Dropbox, there's a variety of things that you can do with it, which make it a little bit more beneficial than the other. Now, as far as usage goes, it's a little more difficult for students to use. And it doesn't allow you to just type in an outline and click the button and you have a graphic organizer. You'll have to go through and adjust things as needed.
Is it free?
Yeah, everything's a little price, yeah.
Okay,
So,
thank you. There's a free one next.
yeah, there's one version that, all right. On to Penultimate. That was what we were supposed to go to next. So I'll try to be on track. So Penultimate is for those of you who want to write on your iPad. Right. And I do not write on my iPad. I type everything, and I just can't write because I'm a lefty, and writing is always problematic with notebooks, and with the iPad it seems to be even more problematic. But it allows you to write. The benefit of Penultimate is that they were recently bought out by Evernote, and so it links up to your Evernote account. So if you have an Evernote account, you can link it to your Penultimate app, and then everything that you produce in Penultimate will automatically go to your Evernote account, sync with your Evernote account. It also allows you to save images. You can see I have an image in mind, but you can import images if you want. You can take pictures and import them if you want. There we go. Jeez. Oh, that was a bad picture. All right. We're going to use it.
Probably look at the other.
No, that's all right. And then you also put other pictures into it. Then you can set, again, link it to your Evernote account, and that allows you to access it there. You can also create other notebooks, and you've got different notebooks. I don't know how many people actually write with their iPads. I don't see a whole bunch of people with a stylus. I'm not big on writing with the iPad. It just hasn't really worked out very well for me. My handwriting is deplorable as it is, and the iPad just makes it even worse, to be honest. And my spelling is just horrid at this point because of all the spell checks. So it's just not working out for me. But
It's almost like relearning to write because the feel is different.
yeah,
And so you have to relearn to write because the drag is different than a pen or a pencil. And so, yeah, it messes up your handwriting, so you just have to relearn to write.
yeah, definitely not the way to do it.
So would you take PDFs from that Penultimate and take notes?
Yeah, you could, and you would. I would say, oh yeah, that's the best way to do it, but it's not the best way to do it anymore. The best way to do it is Evernote just updated Evernote to where you can create any Evernote note and make it into a PDF, and you can edit it right there. So 6 months ago, I would say, yeah, that's exactly how you would do it. If you're interested in the PDF stuff, though, let me go back. And again, we're off target. There's another app called Ghostwriter, which allows you to import PDF files, and you can edit there. Our math teacher uses this quite often. So you can take just a blank sheet. I'm going to just take another picture. See if we can make a better one. And this allows you, I accidentally deleted the photo, but this allows you to edit it. So you can import a PDF and edit it there. But I would say Ghostwriter and Penultimate are about the same in their abilities. Penultimate is just a little bit better in the type of in the way it hooks up with Evernote. But Ghostwriter has a little bit better paper as far as digital stuff and a little bit better aesthetics to it, if that's what you're interested in.
So that's kind of like Skittish.
Yes, that's another one. And they actually have hooked up with Evernote too, and to where if you put things on that, it can link to your Evernote account. But I think Evernote has kind of, with their PDF editor now, probably ended that. It's not going to be as important anymore. So, I wish I had the answers all the time, but it seems like they change things every few months, and then you're like, oh well, and I probably won't use that as much. So other ones we go to take a look at are documents by Riedel. Now a little bit, we'll go to ABCnotes shortly. This is a cheaper PDF reader and editor than Goodreader. I think it was free for a while there. It might be 99 cents now. But it's a little bit more limited. The limitations come in the fact that you can only highlight and you can't edit and put text on. So you can highlight different colors, but you can't edit it. Goodreader, of course, costs a little bit more, and that's why you're able to do those things. But it's one to take a look at. All right. The other one, ABCnotes. Anybody use this one yet? Oh, since we'll go back and forth to graphic organizers. This one takes. This one allows you to take any word, do a search, and goes to all the sites, and then creates a graphic organizer from it. ABCnotes. And then, of course, then you can go from there. Look at continental philosophy. So it creates a graphic organizer. I did Kierkegaard. Creates a graphic organizer, and then use Wikipedia, and then makes that organizer from that. And that did an epic fail and crash. Yeah. Just like that. very similar. So I went from Kierkegaard to Copenhagen, and then went from Copenhagen, and then put out other related items, branching out and branching out each time. All right. Might as well send some here. Educreations. Anybody use Educreations? Excellent. Educreations is very good. I haven't done here in a while. Educreations is a very good whiteboard. Now, there is a very simple whiteboard app. I think it's actually just called Whiteboard, if you've ever seen it. And it's really just creates the whiteboard. You can just scroll on. Educreations is better in the sense that it allows you to actually record them on a cloud server. So you can do lessons and record them on the cloud server. And for example, of course, we just test it out. Allows you to write, also add text. Then you can add pictures, another photo. This one's called Educreations. Then it also allows you to record lessons. So if I hit record, I can actually record the lesson as I am teaching it. So I can say, 2 plus, I can go back here and say 2 plus 2 equals 4. And it's recording it. Then you can share those lessons with your students. So you can take a concept, so to speak, any concept, and make it short, and create an education lesson on, and then distribute it to your students through Evernote. Questions about Educreations? Definitely worthwhile looking at. You can read different places. Now we're going to take a look at Evernote. Let's do ABCnotes first. ABCnotes, this is up here. For those, and since we're kind of looking at ways to distribute information to students, this is ABCnotes, which allows you to create notes, very simple, and put them on a background. And the background is the one I set. ABCnotes. Also allows you to take photos of your screen, like I just did there, and then you can distribute that photo to your students. So if you have a list of homework assignments, list of items that you want them to do, then you can distribute to them that way. You can also switch to another desktop. I'll start from the beginning. You can change the font sizes too. My font size is very small, but it's very easy just to move it around. So as students coming into your room, you can have the bell ringer on the board, on your Apple TV, using ABCnotes. And if they were not there that day, you can take a screenshot and send it to everybody. And that's a little bit different than Education. Education is a little bit more complex. It's cloud storage, allows you to create complex lessons. This is really fairly basic. But for a lot of teachers, this is all you need. I have bell ringers when people walk in. It's very nice just to put things on the screen like this. And then you always have them to reference, and you can also email the note to people. Of course, you can put it on Facebook and Twitter and all the other variety of ways that you can distribute it. Questions about ABCnotes? All right, so let's go to Evernote. DocScan. Those of you, how many people have old documents that they would like to use in the classroom, but they can't access a PDF? They can't access the PDF to the document. Now, at our school, we have a photocopy machine, which allows you to PDF and email that PDF to yourself. A lot of people don't have the access. With DocScan, it allows you to take a picture of a document. I don't have a document in front of me. It allows you to take a picture of the document, and then you're able to, if you imagine that there's a document now, you're able to create a PDF from the document that you took a picture of. For those of you who are dealing with old materials, we all have old materials we really like, we don't want to get rid of, we need a PDF of it. This is a good way to get a PDF quick.
What was the name of the app for this?
The DocScan HD.
DocScan HD.
Right here. DocScan. I always found that one to be beneficial. All right. The other one, since we're doing, anybody use subtext? Nobody. The subtext is great. All right. Subtext allows you to import text into a reader. Let's open it up. Subtext.
It's actually an app in Evernote.
Yeah, it is, and it actually hooks up to your Evernote if you want to. So it's almost like a regular e-reader. The only difference is for the teacher, and I just have the student view, for the teacher, what you can do is embed questions in the text. When the students come through, they'll come to the icon and they'll see questions for the text. Let's see. It also allows you to add books and articles that are available. It allows you to take websites, break them down, and clear them out so that there are PDFs that you can add questions to. Also allows you to, and they have a bunch of free texts that are available online. This just gives you an example of some of the free ones, 1984 and so forth. So they have free text. In addition, you can have access to other teachers, and while you make notes, you can access other teachers' notes if you want to, or if they want to allow you to, which means that you can collaborate with other teachers using subtext. But the benefits are adding discussion questions in the text itself, adding poll questions in the text itself, adding quiz questions in the text itself. And you can also add websites in the text itself. So if you're doing, say, 1984 and then come to a section of the text that is a direct reference to communism, you can embed a YouTube link to a special short lesson on communism. It's different than other e-readers because other e-readers just allow you to read the text. This one actually has students answer questions within the text itself. And then for the teacher, they get to see where the students are in the text.
Have you done one of these before? Like, can we see an example, possibly? Or?
Yeah, actually, this afternoon, Allison Edwards, who's our English teacher, has worked extensively with subtext, and she has done it all with it. So
what's the name of that session where we can see it?
I would have to look at the. New people would like subtext. That is 4B, books without bind. I saw subtext about a year ago at the FETC conference, and I was blown away by what it was able to do. Now, the other things that you can do is, as a teacher, when you go in on your Mac, you'll be able to see where students are in the text. So you have your whole class will be reading the text, and you can see where they are in the text. In addition, and this is some of the things that I liked about subtext, is it allows you to keep track of how the average time per page the student is taking. So, when Johnny says, "I read that," all you have to do is go back in and you can find out how many seconds Johnny was taking on each page. If he was taking 2 seconds on each page, nor he read that, he read it fairly quickly. Yeah. So, and also, of course, those are just small items, but those small items add up to be a lot. I mean, when you can track students and how they're reading through the text, and as long as they're hooked up to Wi-Fi, you'll have the most updated information. It will track the information on their iPad, so it's not like they always have to be hooked up to Wi-Fi. As soon as they hook up to Wi-Fi, of course, then you'll have the updated information. Again, between questions within it, during poll questions, all that's very important. Any questions? And of course, this hooks up with Evernote.
I have one quick question on subtext.
Yes.
Maybe I missed this when you said it. Does it have? Can I just put like a PDF and then embed questions?
It does, and they only started
There's like
about
a
3 to 4
picture.
months ago. Yeah, so
Okay.
you can put a PDF in it. Like 3 or 4 months ago, you couldn't do PDFs, and we called them several times, and they said, "Oh, we're working on it." They finally do PDFs, so you can take a PDF, put it in there, and annotate the PDF the same way as another text.
That's all that.
Yeah. So it's a very good way to ensure that your students are working on what they should do. Any questions about subtext? Definitely go to Allison Edwards' subtext if you're very interested. I think that's worth it. Out the FTC conference, if there was any particular app that I thought was the best one to look at, it was subtext. All right. Back to my list. Forbo is, for those of you who are interested in pronunciation of words, Forbo is a good pronunciation app you're welcome to take a look at. Visual Forbo. Visual Thesaurus is another website that you consider looking at. It has a cost associated with it too. But if you join up, they'll send you a word a day which you can distribute to your students if you so desire. The last thing that I want to talk about, it's not so much an app is Coursera at Coursera.org. I just want to talk about Coursera just for a few minutes because I think it's a very valuable tool for teachers. It's not an app, okay, but it soon will be. Coursera is a free MOOC site. A MOOC, if you ever heard of, this is a new thing. Past 3 years, this massive open online course. Coursera is a site of many different massive open online courses. There's 532 of them. These courses are free for everyone. For teachers, though, that's where it really they have a whole list of teacher courses, if I can get it to come up quickly. No. So for those of you who are administrators or those of you who are teachers, you want to encourage everyone to do professional development, Coursera is the way to do it. The courses last anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks. They're done entirely online. I'm participating in one class. It has about 25,000 people in it. Not everybody participates, of course. Okay, not everybody. Yeah. But not everyone participates. But they're very worthwhile as far as the content. And the teacher professional development pieces that they've had are really nice. They have professors from very reputable universities from around the globe teaching So it's a good way to get some professional development. They do issue a certificate at the end. So it's a good way to get some professional development. What's the deal here? Slow. Popular. All right, let's go back. All right. Finally, just a quick, if I can get on with my other iPad, we'll go to Edmodo. And we had quite a few people using Edmodo. Oh. You can tell I've used my Edmodo on here very often. I've just got the all right. Edmodo is a good way for you to distribute things to your students. And also keep those things for yourself. And we have several Edmodo groups. Of course, we have one for the whole school. We distribute everything through to the school, messages to the students, also do alerts to the students if needed. We also have each teacher create their own Edmodo code for their own classroom. Then what happens is the students sign up, they have the Edmodo code, and you can distribute information to the students that way.
Other than announcements, what else can you share?
Well, all your PDFs, all your links to your websites. You can also keep a library of places for all your classes. So if you have certain documents or certain items that they always access, in each class you can have a library in which you keep those links to those places.
You can turn assignments into advanced graded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can, so if you want to do assignments, what they can do is you can create an assignment, they turn that link or that assignment, you grade it right on Edmodo and post the grade in Edmodo for them. It's just a good way to have workflow, which is the issue. And when we first started working with the iPads, that was one of the issues that we had, is how do you get students to return things back to you other than email? When I first started, we did email and everything, and having 200 emails for a journal question was just outrageous. I mean, so we had to come up with something else. So what we came up with was Google Groups. We started using Google Groups, and even that was a little bit iffy. You didn't really know if all students joined. But with Edmodo, you know all the students who joined, and you also know important things like when they access everything. And if they say they had trouble accessing a particular document, it only takes me a few clicks to find out whether they really had access issues. It's all in there. You can also prevent them from posting things or limit somebody's postings too. So students have certain limits to posting. So I would suggest using Edmodo as your way to do workflow. Then you can distribute things through Dropbox, links, or use subtext, great for reading, and that hooks up with Edmodo also. And the other way that I use with workflow is I create, most of my stuff is on Evernote accounts. So I create an Evernote link, and I submit it to Edmodo, and then students can access things there. The benefit of that is, for example, if we do notes in class, I create the note sheet in Evernote, I submit it to Edmodo as a link. Students download that link into their own Evernote account, add to it, and then submit it back to me. And that's the type of workflow that we do. Very sorry this is so short of a session. We have about 5 minutes left. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Yes?
Say if you had all your students in a school on Evernote,
Right.
and then what would each teacher possibly create their own account and students would join that particular teacher's account?
That's correct. And what you do is you create a subdomain. So we have a subdomain for Franklin Academy, so all the teachers are in our subdomain, and so they create their classrooms, and so I'm able to access their classrooms, and so when they post things on Edmodo, I also know when they are posting things. And I can also keep track of what they're doing, too, if I need to. The other thing that's beneficial about that is the fact that if you get all of your teachers in your Edmodo subdomain, then you give your parents the code to their Edmodo, and their parents can access information about what's being distributed.
They can see their backpack and their grades too.
That's right. And we don't, we do grade on Edmodo, but we don't use that as our grade book. But you can, it's very limited. It's not a really, it's good for just pointing out comments.
Quiz make ready in that? It does not work.
It doesn't work very, yeah. Well, we have one teacher who in our U.S. history class that works with the quiz questions in Edmodo a lot, but I haven't had much luck with it. You can do polls though, and real quick polls as bell ringers when students walk in. I mean, there's a variety of things you could do with that. All right. Any other questions?
I see that you have joined me on your iPad that you have.
Oh yeah.
Is there join me, is there another, sometimes we have problems with join me, is there another one possible that you know?
Adobe Connect is much better for all that. Adobe Connect is actually set up for a classroom. And so you can actually teach a class through Adobe Connect. You have to create an account, but Adobe Connect is much better. I've been working with Coursera, and I have like 20 TAs that I work with, and we do a conference call in Adobe Connect, all 20 of them. And it does really well from all across the world. Other questions? All right, sorry that this information is so short. I would encourage you, please come to my Evernote session. It's very in-depth, and if you really use Evernote and have an Evernote account, you'll really benefit that session. Thank you.